Welcome to the New York City Public Schools Certified Teacher Candidate Presentation. My name is Stefan, and I'll be your host for this session. And we're going to just jump right into things here. Now, before we begin, if you're logged in onto the GoToWebinar app, you're, you can essentially ask questions in the chat. So if you type your question, we'll have folks try to answer those during the presentation. And then at the end of the presentation, I'll try to answer a couple questions live before closing out. You will receive a recording of the webinar. That email usually goes out the next day, so you should receive an email tomorrow with the recording. During the presentation, there will be some QR codes. Use your smartphone to easily open links throughout the session. And once again, you're going to get the recording, so you can always go back to things if you need to. So one website, many pathways. So just want everyone to write down this website. That's teach.nyc.net. It is the ultimate resource for all things related to teaching at New York City Public Schools. It has been redesigned to provide great new resources and tools to help you learn about New York City Public Schools and to find the pathway to teaching that is right for you. So our agenda. So today's session is for New York State certified teacher candidates or education students that are on track to be certified by September 2026. And the presentation has been broken up into 4 different parts. So first, we're going to do an overview of New York City Public Schools. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about early childhood and do a spotlight on that. And then Ohasey, who's in this call today, will talk and touch upon the teacher application process. And then I will go over the job search process. And then if there's time left over at the end, I will take some questions live. So we're going to jump right into things here with the overview of New York City Public Schools. I'm going to do a little bit of a snapshot of the district, talk through the benefits of a career with New York City Public Schools, and then talk about teacher supports and opportunities. But first, I'm going to play a little video from our chancellor, Kamar Samuels.
I became an educator because I wanted to impact young people. I wanted to impact their families. And how better to do that than to be a hardworking teacher in a New York City classroom? To see a young person that you taught and now they're a grown adult, it really makes you hear the impact that you've had when they can point to specific things you've said and how they've taken it with them. The idea that we can have an impact on young people every single day. We want to make sure that our young people have the skills and knowledge to leave school and become really strong civic citizens. I mean, who wouldn't want to work in the best city in the entire world with the best young people in the entire world? You will teach and you will learn a lot.
Great words from our chancellor there. So when you join New York City Public Schools, you join the largest, most dynamic district in the nation with over 900,000 students who speak over 180 languages and a network of 77,000 fellow teachers. New York City educators have the unique privilege and responsibility to jumpstart the next generation of innovators, leaders, and citizens. New York City Public Schools represents a wide range of backgrounds, identities, languages, and learning needs. They need teachers who reflect their diversity and are ready and able to support their learning. So whatever your background, experiences, and skill sets are, there are students in New York City Public School classrooms waiting for a teacher like you. New York City has 1,600 schools that are as diverse as our students and the distinctive neighborhoods we serve. From neighborhood schools with deep roots in their local community to small thematic schools in the performing arts. There are schools with a focus in STEAM, humanities, and dual language schools. Whatever your interest or passion may be, there is a school for you. You can choose a school that fits your teaching philosophy and engage with the community of like-minded professionals. And within our schools, teachers build personal connections with their students, colleagues, and families to support relationship building and learning outcomes. And we'll later talk about how to find your fit and navigate the job search process in New York City. So the New York State class size law means opportunities for educators in New York City is only growing. We're hiring thousands of additional teachers this year to ensure our classrooms citywide are in compliance with the law. Building for the future. So there's 5 new New York City public schools opening in the Bronx and Queens. They're going to expand seat capacity in historically overcrowded neighborhoods, increase access to District 75 seats closer to students' homes. So lots of opportunities coming this fall. New York City Public Schools is dedicated to attracting and retaining the very best teachers for our schools. We're looking for passionate, collaborative, and committed teachers who reflect the incredible diversity of our student body. Our team of exceptional educators are passionate about educating students, truly believing in the power education can make in students' lives. Our teachers thrive on constant learning and collaboration with colleagues. Our teachers go above and beyond for students, understanding students' challenges and embracing their potential. And we seek teachers who are as diverse as our students. Help put our students on the path to college, careers, and a lifetime of learning. Now, a teacher's impact extends well beyond the classroom. Teachers impact students' achievement 2 to 3 times more than any other aspect of schooling. Among school-related factors, studies show that teachers matter most. When it comes to student performance on reading and math tests, teachers have 2 to 3 times the effect of any other school factor, including services, facilities, and even school leadership. Research also shows that a teacher's impact on their own class has what they call a spillover effect for the entire class. When you make an impact on students within your classroom, those students then go on to raise the level of achievement in their future classes. In a given school year, a teacher can make a huge impact on the students in their class. Students who can read proficiently by the end of 3rd grade are significantly less likely to drop out of high school. And graduating from high school is associated with major life benefits, including increased wealth, health, and likelihood of employment. Now, what are some of the benefits of teaching at New York City Public Schools? So first, making a difference in the lives of your fellow New Yorkers, maybe even those in your local community. Focus on building a better future, using your skills to help develop the nation's next leaders, innovators, and educators. And finally, build relationships with colleagues dedicated to a shared goal. You'd be joining a robust network of over 77,000 teachers. Now let's hear from our New York State Teacher of the Year, Prince Johnson, who's a social studies teacher at Food and Finance High School in Manhattan.
You remember your 2nd grade teacher. You remember your 3rd grade teacher, your 4th grade teacher, your 5th. What other occupation are you going to go into that they're going to remember your name for the rest of their lives? So after 8 years of teaching and getting your master's and some more credit, you're going to make 6 figures. To be stable, to know that I'm taken care of and my family's taken care of, there's no feeling like that. There's nothing like New York City. I impact over 100 kids every year. Most adults don't change lives that way in their whole lifetime. If you want to learn what's going to be the future of education in the country, come to New York City now. You're not going to be bored a day in a New York City public school class. You are going to learn.
All right. So moving on to talking a little bit about the salary. So starting in September, salaries will start at $71,314 for bachelor's and no experience, and $80,160 with a master's and no experience. Now, teachers' starting salaries vary based on education and experience, and you can also earn additional compensation for teaching after school or summer school programs and for teaching in demanding environments. Now, the Office of Teacher Recruitment and Quality is unable to predict what your starting salary will be based on your experience and educational attainment, regardless of the teaching pathway you do choose. You can estimate your starting salary by visiting the UFT's salary schedule. And this outlines opportunities for increases based on previous teaching experience, longevity at New York City Public Schools, and educational credits. Now, all teachers begin at the base salary and then apply for salary steps and salary differentials using the salary application system after you begin teaching. Once again, if you're eligible for a higher salary due to experience or educational attainment, you must apply for a salary step when you begin teaching full-time. You cannot apply before then. And if you are a paraprofessional, unfortunately, your years of service do not count towards teaching salary steps. But if you are a full-time substitute teacher, your experience does count as full-time teaching, but you need to provide documentation and proof of your full-time work. Now, this slide looks ahead to what your salary would be in the future at New York City Public Schools. So if you are currently in your 8th year of teaching with your master's plus your 30 credits in professional development courses, you'd be at $106,907. If you have 15 years of teaching at New York City Public Schools with your master's degree and those 30 credits in professional development, you'd be making almost $130,000. Now, remember, this is using the pay scale for the 2026 school season. So these rates are subject to increase with the yearly raises with the UFT contract. Now, there's some additional salary resources from the UFT. We also have some more resources. And there's also a salary webinar recording that really goes into the salary steps and more information about those benefits. Once again, you're going to get a recording on this. You can always go back. Now, there are robust benefits when you join New York City Public Schools. There's a comprehensive health insurance plan. This includes dental, vision, prescription drugs. Some of the plans require no employee contribution. There's also an annual retention bonus, and it's prorated during your first year and increases each year. I mentioned the UFT a couple times. You will have membership with the United Federation of Teachers, which is your union, enrollment in a pension plan. And there's also tons of different discounts and financial incentives, including commuter benefits, a college savings program, employee discounts on technology and media to travel. There's also scholarships, other financial incentives, and other special programs that are available for New York City Public Schools employees. There's also loan forgiveness programs you could be eligible for as a New York City Public Schools teacher. You could be eligible for the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, or PSLF. PSLF forgives the remaining balance on your direct loans after you've made the equivalent of 120 qualifying monthly payments under an accepted repayment plan. New teachers in New York City hit the ground running with professional resources and learning opportunities tailored just for them, in addition to the many career development opportunities available to all teachers. Now, we offer robust supports for our new teachers in person, online, and in community settings. These include there's New Teacher Week, which is coming up in September. It's an annual event where new teachers can get inspiration from special guest speakers, learn about key policies, engage with your union, and network with fellow teachers. There's also school-based mentoring. So new hires with a Trans B or an initial license are assigned an experienced and trained mentor teacher to support professional growth throughout year one. There's also the first class newsletter, a monthly digital bulletin for first year teachers that spotlights vetted resources from Victoria and her mentor David about how the mentor-mentee relationship helps them both learn and grow.
I was fortunate that my principal let me become her mentor. I feel it makes teaching even more enjoyable because you're responsible to hear out your mentees' ideas, and we get to learn from each other, like our different teaching styles.
being open to feedback, because at the end of the day, your mentor wants you to be a better teacher. They're not trying to criticize you.
To be a new teacher coming to New York City, it can be intimidating, and to know that you're going to have someone within your academic subject area to support you is something that I think everyone should know that is offered from New York City.
We have a lot of phys ed teachers that were able to collaborate, were able to share ideas to make the experience better for the students. Some students are individual and some do have different triggers. It's nice to ask a veteran teacher, you had this student for 3 years, what did you do that helped this student?
Other people have the same issues. It's not just you. You're not alone on an island. And other people are experiencing the same thing. Veteran teachers, rookie teachers.
We're very fortunate here, and being able to just bounce ideas off and learn from what other people are doing is just so great.
All right. So now there's also some teacher leader opportunities. It's an opportunity to earn up to an additional $20,000 per year. And these responsibilities include leading a laboratory classroom, facilitating professional collaborations, coaching peers and colleagues, and advocating in leadership conversations. Now, these won't be available for your first year, but these are just opportunities that you have moving on throughout your career. So just want to point those out. Now we're going to jump in and talk a little bit about early childhood education. I'm going to do an overview of the different settings as well as job opportunities. All right, so early childhood education settings. So early childhood teacher candidates can work in one of 4 early childhood settings in New York City. There's district schools, pre-K centers, charter schools, and community-based organizations, also known as CBOs. And you can see the 4 settings represented on the My Schools map. And they're represented by different colored hands, which you can see on the right side of the screen. Now, first talking about district and pre-K centers. So district programs, which are the light blue hands, are early childhood classrooms located in district elementary schools. And there are about 700 across New York City. And then we have pre-K centers, which are standalone buildings that only offer 3K and pre-K grades and classrooms. And if you work at one of these sites, you are an employee of the City of New York City Public Schools, and you must hold a New York State Early Childhood Teaching Certification by the start of the school year to work in one of these settings. Now we also have charter schools, which are those green hands. Now, New York City Public Schools works with about 15 to 20 charters in New York City that offer early childhood programs. They usually have their own HR and hiring practices, but this is an option for you as a teacher candidate. And there's also those New York City community-based organizations, or CBOs. CBOs are independent community-based organizations that contract with New York City Public Schools to provide free early childhood programs. And there are over 1,200 across New York City. As you can see all those orange hands on the map. Each CBO employs its own teachers, and they are not employees of the City of New York. Now, for more information about all of these settings, you can scan that QR code and it'll take you to our early childhood section of our website. Now, a little bit more here on early childhood. So the left side of the screen shows all the opportunities for certified teachers. So if you are certified or on track to be certified by September 2026, we recommend completing the New York City Public Schools teacher application at tnyc.net as soon as possible. We have our final application deadline coming up next week, next Thursday, August 6th. So those who are going to be certified by September 2026, we highly, highly recommend getting your application in as soon as possible. Like I said, we have an application deadline next week, August 6th. Now with this application, so when completing the application, you can select whether you'd be interested in teaching at CBOs, and those are those community-based organizations where we have over 1,200 CBOs across the city. So saying yes to CBOs on your application will greatly increase your job prospects. Now, for those who will not be certified by September 2026 and are interested in teaching early childhood, we recommend that you complete the Early Childhood Teacher Finder. With this, you have the opportunity to teach in CBOs as a lead teacher on a study plan, which allows you to teach full-time and earn a salary while completing your certification requirements. Now, for more information, you can scan the QR code in the middle. Now, with that, I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Ohasi, who is going to talk through the application process.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Stefan. My name is Ohasi, and I'm going to be talking about the application process. New York State teacher certification is a requirement for a permanent teaching position at a New York City public school. Most of our applicants have already earned their certification or will have it by the time they plan to begin full-time teaching. If you are in a teacher preparation program or hold a teaching certificate in another state, you must apply for New York State certification at NYCD.gov. You should submit your New York City teacher application while you are completing your certification requirements or while you are waiting for your certification. You do not need to wait until your certification is finalized in order to apply. There are a few unique teaching opportunities if you aren't yet certified, which we'll talk about on the next few slides before getting into the application process. If you are at a certain point in your schooling, you may have an opportunity to obtain an internship certificate. The internship certificate is a 2-year certificate available to students who have completed at least 50% of an approved New York State graduate program leading to an initial certificate. And an internship certificate helps to meet immediate needs across New York City. Obtain hands-on teaching experience while completing your degree and initial certificate requirements, and begin earning a full-time teaching salary while still in school. For those of you who are interested, you must complete the New York City Public Schools teacher application and upload an internship eligibility letter, which is found on our website. Everyone who is interested in teaching for the upcoming school year must complete the New York City teacher application on tnyc.net. When applying to teach in the New York City public schools, you should think of several important action steps. The action steps are not necessarily listed in order since you can submit your New York City teacher application without being officially certified. Oftentimes, teacher candidates want to know, should I wait to be certified before I apply? All teacher candidates should absolutely apply before their certification is issued. Applying before you are certified is recommended and expected. Do not wait until after your certification comes through to apply. This could delay your potential employment with New York City Public Schools. You'll get your teacher certification through New York State Education Department. It's important to note that the New York State Education Department is a separate entity from the New York City Public Schools. The New York State Education Department is the main entity that issues certifications. In short, if the New York State Education Department says that you are certified, then you are ready to be hired under your certification. Make sure that you are working closely with your college or university certification office to ensure that you complete all the certification requirements. Certifications are now issued on a rolling basis, so the faster that you are certified, the easier it is for you to get hired. Okay, so this slide right here shows the full application process. The first steps that we will cover in the coming slides will be completing the common profile and the New York City Public Schools teacher application. We want to share some stats from this past hiring season. For 2025 application and hiring stats, we have close to 30% of all applications, were started before March. Over 40% of hires were completed by July 15th. An average of 8 days between application start and submission. An average of 83 days between application submission and hiring date. So please submit your application as soon as possible. Okay, so this is a screenshot of teachnyc.net where you'll go to apply. Once you get to teachnyc.net, you're going to click Apply Today. It will show a drop down for all of the different applications. For the teacher application, select Certified Teacher Application. For those that will be certified in early childhood and are interested in CBOs, you can go ahead and select CBO application. Before you start your application, check out the teacher application guide, which will walk you through the process. You can find the guide by going to our homepage and scrolling past the application information. The guide shares information on preparing your New York City teacher application. This includes how to create an account, completing your common profile, tips and notes, and frequently asked questions. It also introduces you to our online support center. And please thoroughly review this document before starting your application. And you can also scan the QR code there for the application guide. If you are a new user to the New York City teacher application, you will need to select New User. If you used the teacher application in a previous year, you can use your previous login information in order to gain access to the system. If for any reason you can't remember your previous login information or are not sure if you have been in our system in the past, you can go ahead and select Not Sure. So next, you're going to see what the account registration page looks like. You will have to complete all of the required information and register your account before you can move on to the next steps of the application portal. This is a secure government website, so your personal information is protected. You must fill in all of the required fields, such as your email, social security number, and password. And here is an example of the icons and required fields that you will need to complete on your application. As a note, there are two different parts to the application. One part is to complete your New York City Public Schools profile, and the second part is the teacher application. You must complete both sections in order to complete your teacher application. Here are some of the sections you'll have to complete as part of your profile. Your account information and work eligibility. This step asks for basic contact information and a few questions regarding your work eligibility. To be eligible to work in New York City, you must meet citizenship and or residency residency requirements. You must complete all parts of the eligibility question, especially if you answered yes to the work authorization status and indicate your specific work authorization status. Please note that if you do not disclose the work authorization status, your application will not move forward. Then we have education. Teacher applicants must enter their education history for both high school and post-secondary education. Candidates holding advanced or multiple degrees must first enter undergraduate degree information before entering any additional advanced degrees. Next, we have experience and references. The work experience information entered in this section can be used to help inform the starting salary of teacher candidates when they are hired. For this reason, the accurate input of professional experience is very important. After that, we have some additional information. Applicants can attach their resume in this section. Attachments cannot exceed 1 megabyte in size. We encourage you to upload your resume as a PDF to preserve your formatting. As you progress through the teacher application, you can customize your resume when you complete your profile and apply for specific positions. And finally, disclaimer and release statement. Please read through the disclaimer and release statement to acknowledge submission of information into the application system. Now, part 2 of the application is the New York City teacher application. The main items required for the application are certification documentation, which is proof of certification or a letter from your university stating that you are on your way to be certified by September 1st, 2026. Resume, work history, academic history, and professional references. Additional components include Common Core aligned lesson plans and a personal statement. We look forward, we are looking for evidence that demonstrates that you are a polished professional in an application to the New York City Public Schools. Your responses to these parts of the application can affect your engagement with our office. For example, if you identify the Bronx as a borough preference, you may be invited to online or in-person recruitment events for Bronx schools. In the job search profile of the New York City Public Schools teacher application, there are multiple questions that allow you to specify the preferences for grade levels, boroughs, and program type. For grade levels, you can select your grade level preferences in this part of the application. This preference should match your certification areas. Don't select a preference for a grade level that you are not certified to teach. Then there's the borough preference. Indicate the locations where you would be most interested in finding a job. As you might know, the New York City Public Schools is the largest school district in the country, operating over 1,600 schools in the 5 boroughs. Therefore, understanding your preferences in terms of where you would like to work is important for our staff. The first question looks at your top 3 borough preferences. If you are willing to accept a position in 1 or 2 boroughs, please mark those 1 or 2 boroughs in the first and second preference sections. And please mark no preference for the third borough option. You can revisit this section of this section of the application as often as you would like. If your circumstances change throughout the hiring season, you can adjust your preferences, the preferences that you shared before. Then we have District 75 preference. District 75 is a geographic district providing quality and rigorous individualized educational programs to students with significant challenges. If you are in an eligible certification area, your resume may be shared with District 75 schools in the geographic regions you have specified. You can also indicate interest in working in District 75 to help District 75 principals focus on your application. In the job search profile section of the application, you also have the option to indicate your interest in early childhood positions. If you are certified or on track to be certified to teach early childhood education, after you have selected the early childhood teaching position of interest, We encourage you to select yes to have your application made available to CBO hiring managers to maximize your early childhood job prospects. Each year, the majority of early childhood hiring occurs in New York City CBOs. And by selecting yes, you will have access to hundreds of early childhood positions. As a reminder, New York City CBOs are the only opportunity through New York City Public Schools to be a lead teacher without yet having your New York State certification. The not yet certified positions may be of interest to some of you that might not be certified by the start of the next school year, but are interested in getting classroom teaching experience and earning a salary now. Learn more at tnyc-prek.org. Certified teachers working at community-based New York City CBOs and in 4410/4201 programs now make the same starting salary as teachers working in New York City Public Schools, district schools, and pre-K centers. For each certification or extension that you hold, you'll be asked to input the following information: certification status, when your certification was issued, requirements completed but certified, not yet issued by New York State Education Department, whether you were certified in another state, etc. Also, the certification type, the subject area, the grade level, certification issue date or expected issue date, and your educational pathway to certification. Meaning, did you attend a traditional teacher preparation program? Did you participate in New York City Teaching Fellows, for example, etc.? Please note that you need to enter this information for each certification and extension that you hold. And let's talk about proof of certification. One of the most common reasons why teacher candidates' applications get held up during the review process is that they do not upload the correct or current supporting documentation showing they're certified and or on track to be certified. If you hold a New York State teacher certification already, you will need to submit an electronic copy of your current and unexpired teacher certification or a screenshot of your Teach account showing your active and current New York State certification. If you are on track to receiving your New York State teacher certification by September of this year, you must submit an on-track letter completed by your college or university. You can find a sample of one of these letters by scanning the QR code here on this slide. And now, a little bit about the on-track letter. If you will receive teacher certification by September of this year, you must submit an on-track letter completed by your college or university, like I stated earlier. For those who are certified to teach in another state, you should begin the reciprocity process to get certified in New York State. Please go to NYCD.gov to begin that process. New York State Education Department takes 6 to 8 months to review applications. So if you are interested in teaching at New York City Public Schools, you should begin the process as soon as possible. Now, resume. We do not have a required New York City Public Schools resume template, but we do provide prospective teachers with a resume template in the teacher application guide. We also do encourage Graduate School of Education students to take advantage of your Career Services Center at your college or university to get support with your resume before you upload and submit your application. And here are some tips for effective resume composition. You'll also have the chance to upload another copy of your resume in the application, in addition to what you included in the common profile. This is a chance to ensure that your resume reflects your experience and qualifications to become a New York City Public Schools teacher. Your resume is a critical part of your first impression, and here are some tips for composing your resume. Think about the audience. Consider what the hiring manager is looking for from an ideal candidate. Qualification. List your area of certification and relevant experience. Use action verbs and specific examples to highlight your skills and accomplishments. Keep your resume clear and concise. Please make sure to review, check for grammatical and spelling errors. And of course, consider the format. Apply consistent formatting and save your resume as a PDF. So bringing up the overview again, after completing the common profile and the New York City Public Schools teacher application, all applicants will then receive a confirmation email from the Office of Teacher Recruitment and Quality confirming receipt of the application. All applications will be reviewed to determine certification eligibility. Only applications that meet standards are entered into the new Teacher Finder, a database for candidates to connect with schools and access job postings and other resources. We'll talk more about the new Teacher Finder shortly. Now you can officially start your job search. Just to give you a sense of the application and hiring timeline, the application opened on January 12th and remains open through the summer. There's a lot of mid-year hiring that takes place during the early winter months, and then principals begin hiring and interviewing for the following school year. Early commitment is an initiative for candidates certified in high-need subject areas to be able to accept positions in certain districts prior to budgets being released for peak hiring. This year, we even have a stipend available for candidates who accept an early commitment before June 16th. Then finally, peak hiring is June through August. And if you're interested in teaching this fall, we highly recommend getting your application in before the final application deadline, which is next week, Thursday, August 6th, exactly a week from today. There are great benefits to submitting your application before the deadline. You can receive vacancy lists across all boroughs, invitations to in-person and virtual networking events with schools that are hiring teachers, and invitations to job search workshops. Remember, the final application deadline is August 6th, just a week from today. So now I'm going to pass this over to Stefan, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ohasi. I really appreciate it. So finding your fit. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our high need subject areas, finding the right position, and talk a little bit about the new teacher finder. So one way you can promote success in your job search is by considering districts, neighborhoods, and schools where your talents are most needed. If you are certified in a certain high demand subject areas, this is especially true. Now, if you're really determined to work here, you should also think strategically about where you are looking for a position. If you want to go where the jobs are, consider teaching positions in the Bronx and Brooklyn. Last year, this year, 52% of our new hires occurred in schools in these two boroughs. Now, it's important that you find a school that's the right fit for you, but don't exclude schools because they're slightly out of your comfort zone or in a different borough from where you live. Almost all of our schools are easily accessible by public transportation, and we have students who need great teachers in all 5 boroughs. Now, while we hire across all certification areas and backgrounds, we want to highlight the current hiring priorities for New York City Public Schools. These priorities can shift from year to year based on the needs of our schools. If candidates are not yet certified or are considering adding an extension to your certification, these are areas where principals will be hiring and where there is high demand for more teachers to be certified. We encourage you to consider one of these areas where teachers are in demand. And if you have an extension or another certification in one of these subject areas, it might be wise to leverage it to increase your job prospects. So we have special education, the sciences, mathematics, English as a new language, bilingual education, world languages, and career and technical education, or CTE. Now, a few tips for finding the right position. Research schools online, and I'm going to show you how you can do that. Conduct outreach to schools directly. I'm also going to show you how to do that as well. Use the new teacher finder and other job boards, network with colleagues, professors, and friends. And finally, attend New York City Public Schools networking events. Now, one helpful job search tool is the new teacher finder, or the NTF. So once you submit a high quality application, you'll get access to the new teacher finder, and you'll be able to log in and use the new teacher finder in several ways. So first, your application profile will become viewable to principals and recruiters. Secondly, you'll be able to search for teaching positions. Now, it's important to note that not all principals list positions in the new teacher finder, but many do, and this will give you a sense of what's out there. Principals may not post positions, but they could be looking and reviewing resumes to see which candidates can be a good fit for their schools. And finally, if you're certified in a high need subject area, you may receive invitations to New York City Public Schools sponsored recruitment events during the spring or summer. Now, here is a screenshot of what the new teacher finder looks like. So after you select search all positions on the left panel, you can filter for the position type, your preferred borough, grade level, and subject area. Principals then enter their vacancies in the NTF, and while you can express interest via the NTF, you should also email principals directly. And on the next slide, this will show you how you could do that. So to learn more about specific schools, you can go to schools.nyc.gov and use the Find a School search feature right on the homepage. And you can search for schools by name, borough, or grade level to help narrow down your options. However, you'll want to remember that the tool lists every school in our system, not just those with openings. Once you've identified schools that interest you, you'll need to contact them directly to inquire about position availability. Now, clicking on an individual school name will take you to a page that contains a wealth of information about a school. So, for example, here we have Clara Barton High School. You can click on the school website to go directly to their webpage. There you can find information on principals or hiring managers. This is how you can do your direct outreach to see if a specific school is hiring for specific teachers. You can click on Overview to see some data about their grade levels, enrollment, district, and more. You can click on School Quality for direct links to school quality guides and reports for the school. And then finally, you can click on Reports for additional information about school programs, the finances, and more. This is great information also if you have an interview with a specific school. You can learn more about the school and be more informed when interviewing. So this is very helpful for that as well. Now, as you are conducting your job search, you'll want to think about ways to help you stand out virtually. This can include creating a portfolio, ensuring your cover letter and resume are strong, and uploading a portfolio or videos of demo lessons. You can upload all of this information in the Spotlight section of the new teacher finder so that principals can see it when they view your application. And you can also send this information to principals and hiring managers via email when conducting your outreach. And Just a note here that your demo lesson should be uploaded to an online platform like Google or Dropbox, and then you can include the link in your portfolio. And with the right strategies and approaches, you could find the position that is right for you. All right, so moving on to next steps and questions. So you can visit the online support center for 24/7 support with the application and hiring process. Now, the support center itself contains hundreds of articles about every stage of the application and hiring process, as well as a contact us button where you can submit your question to the TRQ help desk for a personalized response. Highly recommend doing that, especially if your question wasn't answered during this session. Now, we also have a subscribe. If you haven't already, we highly recommend subscribing to get emails from us. And I'm going to just enter this in the chat really quick. And follow us on social media. We're very active on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Also, just want to highlight checking us on YouTube. There's a newer channel that we have. It's at Teach NYC on YouTube. We have recordings of all of our sessions. Yeah, and we'll keep uploading there. Great to learn more information about teaching at New York City Public Schools. So I want to thank everyone that was able to be here for our information session. I hope you all have a great evening.